introduce you. Welcome to another Terrific Tips episode. I, of course, am Terry, your host. And today I'm so excited to have the one, the only Pat Chin with us. For those of you who don't know who Pat Chin is, I've had the distinct honor and privilege of knowing her, working with her, and seeing her grow and develop over the last year inside of Women's Prosperity Network. She's also done a presentation inside of Triad Association, which is our networking group that exists online. If you're looking to meet new people, get in touch with me so that you can get an invite. It is free to come and join us in those conversations. And she gave us a wonderful conversation about in-home health. And today is not going to be much different. We're going to have a great conversation about the lessons that she's learned and what she brings to the table when it comes to home health and wellness. So let me introduce you to the one and only Pat Chin. She is a home health and wellness consultant who's passionate about showing others how to clean up their home, their bodies, by removing poison in the air that they breathe, the water that they drink, and the cleaning solutions and personal care products that they use. When we do this, we actually not only clean ourselves, we clean the earth together by helping to eliminate these contaminants and toxins in our world. The average household contains more than 62 toxic chemicals. And for those of us who are pregnant, expecting, have children already, or even pets, that's a scary amount of toxic chemicals to be around these young bodies or really susceptible bodies. 3,000 tons of paper towel are thrown away every day. Holy cow. And then the 3 most harmful products are sitting in our bathroom right now. Pat is on a mission to share her knowledge and educate others so that they do not become an alarming statistic themselves. So, Pat, welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Terry. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, it has been an honor and privilege to see you grow over the last year and the amazing things that you do. And I'm so thrilled for you and everything that you're working on. And I love your mission. I'm with you on that mission. I don't know if I've ever told you that since I was a little girl, I've worked on sponsoring and saving manatees.
Oh, no. Nice.
Yeah. And so ocean conservation is a big thing for me. And so reading about the paper towel, I'm sure that's just one piece of this puzzle, right? Paper towel in some cases is biodegradable, not always, but in some. But plastic is a big problem for our oceans.
Exactly. There is so much plastic that we toss and it just ends up in our landfills and in our oceans. So it's harmful to, not just the animal, the ocean life, but everywhere, because the plastic doesn't biodegrade.
Yes.
So all of that just keeps growing and growing. And in today's world, the amount of plastic that we throw out is enormous. So I am so passionate about trying to find ways to reduce that.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for that mission. I think it's a beautiful one. Let me ask you a question. When it comes to this kind of work, what's been the biggest challenge that you've had to face?
So the biggest challenge is educating people, right? There are different tranches of people. So there are people that are already there, understand it, want to make a change and, make the change. Then you have those that it's so much more convenient just to grab the bottle of water. Right? I can just pick it up. I can go buy it. It's just right there. It's changing that mindset of people to understand that what you do today has that lasting impact, a negative impact of what, in the future.
I wonder, what is it that you think contributes to that hurdle, if you will, in people's minds, that we don't seem to really connect what we do now has a ripple effect later? Because I think that's consistent in just about every industry.
I think it's just convenience. I think this world everything is right there and you want that instant gratification, right? So I can grab that bottle of water, I can have it right there, drink it. I don't have to go, fill up a bottle with something else that's maybe healthier for you. So it's just that convenience. I can just grab it at the supermarket.
True. Yeah.
I don't have to carry a bottle, fill it up. It's right there. And it kind of goes with everything. It's like even the cleaning products, right? I can just pick it up at the supermarket when I'm there. I'm walking down the aisle. Oh, yes, I need that. I grab it.
Yeah.
You go home and you just use it. So it's all changing that culture, that mindset, of trying to, it's convenient, but maybe not the best thing for you.
True. Okay. So thinking about convenience and thinking about things that are good for us, are there things that we can do to make what's good for us more convenient?
So there are quite a few. So for instance, when you're looking at your cleaning products, you can look at the label to read what's in them and educate, so it starts with education, understanding what's in these products that are either harmful for us, and contribute to all the environmental factors that are out there. So the one thing you can do is read those labels. Either that or find another method of cleaning that is not toxic. Essential oils is a good way to do things. There's microfiber with just water only, so you're not even introducing those sprays and the chemicals from them. Your laundry detergent as an example, clean detergents, not those that, the fragrances is a big thing. So everybody loves nice, smelling stuff, but then you don't realize that those fragrances are actually filled with chemicals.
Yeah.
Right? It's, being more aware of what you're picking up and putting into that grocery cart or using within your homes to help eliminate some of that, we call it indoor air pollution, right? So pollution is not just outdoors. We also have indoor air pollution.
And when it comes to like smelling good things, because we all have the friends that have all the candles and have all the air fresheners and the diffusers and the Glade plugins. We all know those people, right? But at the end of the day, not all essential oils are created equal.
True.
Is there a particular essential oil or set of essential oils that you can say, this is actually a pure oil that's not going to just contaminate your air, but it is going to provide a clean smell for you that's safe?
There are a couple of them. Like I use doTERRA, right? But there's also Young Living that I like as well. So either one of those are good options for essential oils. But yes, you should find, because if you pick them up like on Amazon, internet, you're not sure what you're getting.
Yeah.
So you really should research what it is you're the company that you're going to get them from to make sure that they are good natural essential oils. Now, something that's in a bottle that we're not quite sure what we're getting,
Right. So you mentioned education and looking at the labels and what's in them. And I can hear myself and like my parents talking in my head, right? And probably some of the people who are listening saying, yeah, but I don't know what those words are. Like I'm reading it and I'm like, sure, it sounds like a foreign language. I don't know what that means. And how do we know the information? Like if we were to look up what that word is, how do we know the information that we're receiving is accurate? Because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Right. So there is a lot of it, it's true. There is a lot of information. The Google is, your best friend, but when you search, you don't know. So for me, I look at it and I say, okay, I read through each of the different chemicals or words on the label, and then I research and I read what that information is all about. So I've educated myself to understand when I see that word and kind of know it's either chemical based or not chemical based. There's also another tool that I use. It's called EWG.org.
EWG?
It's environmental working group.org, DORG. And they actually have as one of the different components to it, foods, cleaning products, different areas. And you can actually plug in the brand of what you buy and to see what's rated and see what each of the chemical or the ingredients and how they're rated in the product and what the final rating of that product is.
Interesting.
It goes from like an A to F, right? A being the best. So actually,
Very interesting.
yes, it gives you a guide of, not every product's in there, but for the most part, they do have a large range. And like I said, it's not just cleaning products. There's a section for food, for all different sorts of things to sort of help us understand what the ingredients are in the products that we're using.
Okay. And this organization is a nonprofit, I assume. That's why it's a .org.
I don't know that it's a nonprofit, but it is, I think when it comes to like the environment and some of these other things, they use the .org, right?
Okay. So my question then is, and this comes out of, I was listening to a podcast with Kristen Norton at Well Balanced Nutrition, and she's got the Healthy Book Geeks podcast that's on all the podcast networks. So for those of you that have Spotify, you can go listen to it. But she was talking about a book that Mark Hyman wrote in one of her podcasts recently, and she had mentioned that the food industry can pay external scientists to run labs and tests and stuff on their food, and then pay to omit certain information when it comes to those tests. So how do we know that's not happening with our cleaning products?
That is a good point. I know that like when you go to EWG, you won't find certain products, and that's because they don't participate in the testing. Or I'm pretty sure that they probably also, it's not, they probably do charge for that testing, and they don't participate in that kind of testing. So like one of the products that I use, Norwex as an example, you would not find it on there because they don't use that, they don't pay for that kind of service. They do their own independent third-party testing, and we get the results from that. So that's one of the questions, but we do use it as a guide to look at some of the other products that are out there when people are interested in, if they're using another brand name product and they want to see what's in them, they can look at the ingredient ratings.
That's a great resource just to experiment with and check out, because it certainly isn't one that I've heard of before. So I'll be checking it out and seeing what comes up. And I certainly encourage our listeners to do the same. This has already been chock full of amazing information, Pat. And I know our listeners are going to want to reach out to you, get some more information on where they can learn about the toxins that they have in their air and their water. What's going to be the best way for them to do that?
So they can reach out to me either through my email, which is spjcoffee@gmail.com, or they can also go to my website at www.patmchin.com and connect with me there. If you are interested, there is a free 7-step guide or simple step guide that you can pull down, and it lists 7 simple ways to start looking at what you have in your homes and see how you can change them out, what you can change them out with, and start to create what I call a healthy home, right? So you start to clean your home, you get that clean indoor environment, reducing that indoor air pollution, and then you create a healthy home environment.
Awesome. Awesome. For those of you that are listening to this, either through the podcast network or through YouTube, if this content is serving you today, hit that subscribe button or go ahead and like this episode. We love to know that this content supports our listeners. That's what we built this podcast for. I have a sneeze coming. I'm going to try and sniff it back. Anyway, I am Terry Watkins, your chief idea catcher over at Spin Frogs. And if you have a business or an area of expertise that you would like to showcase, we're always looking for guests to come be on our show. And we would love to host you. All you have to do is get in touch with me at terry@spinfrogs.com. And that, of course, is Terry with an I, because you can't spell terrific with a Y. It just doesn't make sense. So it's Terry, TERRI, @spinfrogs with an S.com. I look forward to talking with you and seeing if we can have you on our show. Now, Pat, we've already heard about one tip to help streamline and simplify our lives when it comes to convenience for things that are better for us from a non-toxic perspective. And that's getting educated on what is in the products that we're already using. Is there another step that we need to take to help simplify and make it easier to use the products that are safer for us and for our families?
So let me talk about water, which you are drinking. Very good.
I am. Out of my glass mason jar.
It's awesome. It's not plastic.
It's not.
So water is another, way for us to get healthy. And water is the most important, if not, amongst whatever we put into our body, because it keeps us hydrated. The hydration helps our skin, right? It helps our body cleanse and release everything that's in there. And one of the things that is so important, and I don't know that everybody realizes it, is like there's water everywhere, right? You turn around, there's tap water. You turn around, there's bottled water, and they're not always the healthiest option. So important to understand what you are consuming and putting into your body is the type of water.
So water is not created equal.
No.
Who knew? Did that just blow everybody else's mind? Because it kind of blew my mind a little bit. Not all water is created equal. So H2O is not equal to H2O. It depends on where it comes from. Isn't that interesting?
Right. And
so what makes one water better than another?
So what you use, so example, tap water, right? It's treated with chlorine and chemicals to get it to get it in so that we can drink it to a state where we can drink it and consume it. So you often have that chlorine in that water. That's a chemical you're putting into your body.
Interesting.
Right? Reverse osmosis is a good way to filter water. But what happens is it takes out all the minerals. Your body still needs minerals from the water. So taking out all of the minerals is not a helpful thing either, right? Bottled water is just basically filtered water. And it could be done by reverse osmosis. You're not sure what the company is using. And also it surprise you to know that there is no regulation on bottled water. So there's
no regulation on bottled water.
Right. There's nothing that says this is attested and this is true bottled water or this is good water. So everybody can do whatever it is. Like my sister-in-law was telling me about something that came out on the news where this company was making alkaline water, bottled water. But the alkaline water, it was starting to, kids were getting stomach issues and digestion issues and problems from it. And what ended up after the research is the company was making alkaline water, but the chemicals that we're using to make the alkaline water weren't good. So there's nothing that really regulates it up front so that you know that what you're buying, whether it's alkaline water or in bottles or regular bottled water, is good water. So it's so amazing that somebody would actually do that. It blows my mind. Like you would actually put a product out there like that would harm people. It's crazy to think about it.
Well, I'm sure it probably wasn't intentional. It was a side effect. They were trying to shortcut creating an alkaline water without using an alkaline water system, perhaps. And that's part of what ended up being the side effect or the outcome of it. Sure, they didn't do. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they didn't do it intentionally.
Yeah, I would hope so. But,
so are there any bottled waters that are worth our consumption? Because, for example, if you're on a long road trip, you can only bring so much water with you. You're going to have to stop eventually to get water in order to stay properly hydrated. So how do you find the right kind of water when you're out somewhere so that you can continue to stay hydrated along that journey?
So what I do is Nikan has a great system. There's a countertop home system that is great. It helps with the absorption of the water, the alkalinity, puts in the minerals you need, takes out the chemicals. So I actually they have a sports bottle. So what I do is take this bottle. So wherever I find water, like if you're on your road trip, as an example, you take that bottle, you fill it up with whatever water you find. Tap water, fill whatever the little water coolers are, fill it up. And then you know that whatever is coming through, it passes through the filter, you're getting alkaline water that's filtered and healthy for you.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's optional, things like that you need to look at, and also don't get plastic bottles, right? That kind of defeats the purpose of the water bottle. So try to find a water bottle that's not plastic.
That's really hard to do, y'all. I'm just saying. That's why I drink out of a mason jar, which is really not convenient for traveling because it doesn't fit into any cup holder, but it does make it so that way I can make sure I get the right amount of water that I need in my body every day. So 4 of those, I'm at over 96 ounces of water. I'm good to go. But it's really, really hard to find a glass water bottle. And then, of course, you run the risk of, okay, I'm a biker, I'm a hiker, I'm, a kayaker. Plastic floats, plastic I can drop and it's not going to break, but glass, if that slips out of my hand while I'm hiking, if that slips and I don't get it into my cup holder just right on my bike, it's going to break. And then I'm totally without water.
Right.
Ah. So there's definitely some conundrums when it comes to water, but having a water bottle that allows for that filtration with whatever water you put into it certainly does make it a little easier to get the right kind of water. And so water that is alkaline based is the kind of water that we need to be drinking.
Correct. So what alkaline means is really just neutralizing, making the pH of the water, so it's not acidic. Gotcha. Right. So what happens when you consume acidic, your body's so acidic, it's more susceptible to disease. So you want to make sure you're like neutralizing your body and making sure that it's at this, place where you're not going to introduce or allow disease to take over. Okay. Right? Which is why hydration is good, but good hydration is even better.
Yeah. I will say I did notice a change. So I was using Invigorate filter. It's like the 7 levels of filtration for my water. And then I switched to an alkaline based filtration system. I'm still just using a filter. I don't have one of the countertop systems. But even in making that transition, I was able to feel the difference in terms of how hydrated I was. And I can feel it in my skin too, how soft and supple my skin is, as opposed to having that kind of tissue papery feel that you get when your skin is really dry. And when I do my scans, I go and get a scan from Melissa Karan, who's over at Scented Balance, and she makes all of my custom oil blends. Even more important when you're pregnant, you want to make sure that you're not like using oils that aren't safe for baby. So she does all of my custom oil blends to make sure that the oils are safe for baby and are what my body needs. And ever since transitioning from the Invigorate filter system to the filter system that we're using now, that's the alkaline system, hydration has been 0 on my scale, which means I'm absorbing everything that I'm supposed to absorb in my hydration. So it really does make a difference. Not all water filters are created equal either. I wish I could remember the name of the filter that I have, but I got it from Whole Foods. So it works. It is good.
It is. And it's important. So I'm glad that you're doing that and that you've noticed the difference.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, like how you notice the difference. It's been pretty incredible. So, okay. So we have 2 steps now. We've got to read up on our labels for our cleaning products. And then we've got to really think about what water are we drinking. Awesome. And we're at the halfway point of our conversation. So I want to give our listening audience another chance to connect with you, because I know you have more steps that you want to share with everybody today. So what's going to be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Reach out to me at my email, spjcoffee@gmail.com, or visit my website at patmchin.com. And you can get your 7 free steps to start on your way to create your healthy home.
Awesome. I love that you have the 7 free steps guide. So for those of you who are listening to this or watching this on YouTube, go ahead and get your 7 steps guide to a cleaner, healthier home so that together we can start saving the planet one toxin removal at a time. I am, of course, Terry Watkins, your host and chief idea catcher over at Spin Frogs. For those of you that don't know about Spin Frogs, we are a forensic marketing firm focused on providing guidance to business owners when it comes to their marketing so they can avoid the pitfalls, maximize their return on investment, and have the impact that they want to have in the world. That's the work that we do, and we provide these services through a variety of ways. And I would love to just start a conversation with you. I offer free 15-minute conversations just to get to know you and connect. It's not about a sales pitch. I do want to see if I can be a resource for you, whether it be inviting you on to this show, which is absolutely free, or inviting you to association, which is also free. And I have a couple of free guides available on my website too. So just visit spinfrogs.com and you can get in touch with me. I certainly would love to just connect and get to know you a little bit better. Pat, I think at this point, we both have Clubhouse, and it would be fun for us to open up the conversation to some people who might have other questions about health and wellness and creating a toxin-free living environment. So I'm going to go ahead and start a Clubhouse room, and I'm just going to say it's open, and I'm going to invite you to the room, Miss Pat. There you are. And I'm going to invite some other people too. Let's see who joins us and see what kind of conversation we can have. And we're going to go ahead and keep the recording and conversation going here. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube Live or listening to this conversation after the fact, you're still going to get the joy of being connected with us and being able to hear the conversation, even through Clubhouse, because we're on different devices. Gotta love technology, the ability to do this. All right. So I've started that room. Let's see who joins us. And the room is just open. It's just an open room. Ooh, what did I do?
Oh, maybe it's me. Okay.
There we go.
Is that better?
Okay, so only one of us can be off mute in Clubhouse at the same time, or else we have a really awesome echo. That was fun. Sorry for those of you who are listening to the recording and just went, my ears. Okay, cool. So now that room is open, Pat, is there been a specific resource, tool, or habit that has helped to serve you in creating a healthier lifestyle for you and your family that you can share with us?
So what do I do in my home?
Yeah, and make sure you unmute yourself in Clubhouse.
Oh, okay. All right, there we go. All right, so for me, what I actually live and created my own healthy home. So I drink the water. I also have air purifiers. So air is the other little tip I want to share with you, right?
Air. Yes, we haven't talked about air yet.
Right. So it's easy. The best thing to do, the easiest thing to do is to open your windows and get that fresh air. Fresh air is always the best, right? But in the world that we live in, that may not always be the right thing because all of that pollution that we have coming in, and also the weather may not allow that in certain areas. So the other thing that you can do to look at your, clean your air is an air purifier. So an air purifier will help clean the air and also create a clean, that help you with breathing, right? So if you have a lot of breathing issues, you have asthma, allergies, it'll help that. So you want to look for a air purifier that will help you. The Kenko Air is a good one. It not only cleans it, but it also creates negative ions. So I don't know if you know what negative ions are.
It sounds like our next question. So what is a negative ion and why is it important? And before we answer that, hi, Christina, welcome to our Clubhouse room. If you would like to come up on stage, just raise your hand and we'll invite you up on stage. We're having an awesome conversation with the one and only Pat Chin today, talking about some simple steps we can take to reduce the toxins in our life and improve the quality of life for ourselves and for our planet all at the same time. And we were just talking about air pollution. And Pat, you mentioned opening the windows, and I'm a huge fan of opening the windows. And I'm super duper allergic to pollen, fresh cut grass, and all of the awesome stuff. that's out there. And I'm working with the allergy kit right now to fix that. So that way I can have my windows open, because now is the time of year to open my windows, but I cannot breathe. So an air purification system sounds amazing. What is a negative ion and why is that important?
So negative ions are electrical charges in the air, right? So in the natural environment, those negative charges are already there. So your body is getting the effect of those. What negative ions do is they reduce the harmful effects of stress, right? They actually help regulate the production of your stress hormone, cortisol.
Well, that sounds really interesting and important. How many of us work in a stressful job, or we're sitting all day, or we have stressful family members? Sounds like that's a really easy way to reduce stress if we had something like that. You know, what about salt lamps? Don't salt lamps do something like that?
I think they do. I've not really I have a salt lamp, but I've not actually investigated what it actually does, but I have one by my bed.
I ask only because I have several. I think I have one in just about every room of the house. And we keep them on all the time. I love the way they look. I don't know if they actually do anything or don't do anything. I've had people tell me that they do, like, ionize the air in some way, and I've had other people not really say a whole lot about them. So I'm like, I don't know, they look pretty. So if it's helping me, great. If it's not, that's okay too.
That's why I got mine. It looks pretty. But there are a couple other benefits to negative ions, right? So it also converts your acidic blood into alkaline state. So it ionizes calcium and sodium contents in your blood, and it it helps your cells to function optimally by regulating the metabolism and increasing your absorption. And then last but not least, it's a powerful antioxidant. So all of these benefits of, the negative ions that it's in your home, since you can't get out, is awesome, right? It really does help. So when you walk into the house, like I actually got 2 more just recently because they're on sale. I couldn't miss the sale, but they're like 30% off this month. And it is been awesome. So I have one in every room because it only covers like 300 feet. So I have, a large home with very high ceilings. So I got a couple more units, and it's just awesome. It's just clean, easier to breathe, lighter air in the home, and it's great.
I was going to say, so do you notice a difference when you're in your home versus when you're outside or when you're at the office with this air change inside of your own living environment?
Yeah, so I find it easier so first of all, I work from home, so I'm in it all the time. So it's awesome. But when you go outside, you feel a little different when you come inside because you don't have all those outside contaminants. So the air is sometimes it's a little heavier and thicker, and because of what's in the air, and you walk inside, you just feel this like a calm and come over you just from like inhaling the air. And
how interesting. So that heaviness in the air isn't just humidity.
No. My husband suffers from allergies too. Right. So when he walks in, I haven't seen him popping those allergy pills as often. Right. If at all. I think I haven't heard him complain that I'm stuffy, like he's all head stuffy. He hasn't complained. And for him, that's good because he's always complaining.
I will not tell him you said that. Of course, this is aired publicly, so I'm not going to promise somebody else won't. But how nice would that be? So when we do some of these things, what I'm actually hearing is there's a cost savings here. So if we look at the chemicals that are in our cleaning products and we start to wean ourselves towards a toxin-free cleaning where we're using only water, well, you're already only paying for the water anyway. So wouldn't that be nice to never have to buy a detergent again or soap again? If you use these filtration systems for your water, yes, you have to pay for the filtration system, but you then are not buying bottled water when you're out. You're not buying and ingesting all of this other stuff that could be affecting you long term. So it's actually saving you money when you're on your road trips. It's saving you money when you're at the grocery store. You're now able to get water that you know is quality. And the same thing is happening with your air. You have to buy these air filtration systems, but when you do, you actually save money on no more allergy medicine, and you're not having to worry about changing out maybe your air filter itself that exists in your house as often or more often during certain times of year, because you've got this external air purification system that makes it easier. So really there's a cost savings going on at every one of these steps to help us live a healthier life. Am I getting that right?
That's right. That is definitely right. It's better for you. And so I don't want to scare you, Terry, but you mentioned you were pregnant. So do you know that over 200 chemicals can be found in the cord of newborns?
I didn't know that. And for those of you that can't see me, I'm making a face. That's very sad. No, that's scary because, I mean, there's already enough things that you have to worry about that's totally outside of your control, right? And those chemicals probably can cause some of the complications that women experience, like preeclampsia or hypertension or high blood pressure or pre-diabetes inside, like their pregnancy diabetes and all of that kind of stuff. And these are things that the doctors don't really know how to tell you how to control or prevent them. They just tell you to take a baby aspirin when you get into your second trimester or things like that, which in some studies show a positive effect. In some studies, taking a baby aspirin in your second trimester reduces effects of preeclampsia by 34%. But if there are chemicals in that cord blood, that probably contributes too. And if there's a way to eliminate those chemicals in the cord blood, that could probably reduce preeclampsia as well.
But also, when you're newborn, when your baby's born, think about what's already, the baby's already filled with these chemicals because he's taking the food out of the cord blood, right? You're passing everything through from you to him, to her or her. And the baby already has come into the world with a chemical load, which is, you can't change it overnight, but as we do some of these things and we start to make, our homes cleaner, and the effect that it has on the environment will then, it will populate through there. Then that way, eventually, the hope is that we can change and fix some of that.
That's amazing. So we've learned about these 3 steps, and I so appreciate you informing me on that. It's a good thing I already have a cleaning solution that doesn't necessarily involve chemicals. I can clean my house with just water. I usually often use essential oils and vinegar to clean my house, so also safe, biodegradable stuff. And we drink alkaline water. So I'm doing some of the things, probably not all the things, but some of the things to help reduce some of that, which is great. Is there another tip or habit that we should look into to help us transition off of these chemicals and toxins to live that cleaner, healthier lifestyle?
The other thing would be sleep. Right? So sleep is important. And a lot of us feel that, oh, I'll catch it up. I'll go to sleep, I'll stay up tonight, but then I'll go to sleep earlier the next day. I'll catch up, but you really never catch up your sleep. And really what happens is when you're sleeping, your body is healing and regenerating. So when you don't give your body enough sleep, it tends to affect your mental acuities, and your ability to focus. And your energy levels. So really, get enough sleep. If it helps, like schedule your sleep, and try it. So I'll tell you to schedule your sleep, but mine pops up and I just ignore it and keep going. I got so much to do. So pay attention to it and keep to your schedule would be the right thing to do.
We're all a work in progress, Pat. We're all a work in progress. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So I actually use Fitbit. So I have a Fitbit that I wear. It tracks my steps. Mine only tracks my steps and it tracks my sleep. But it does not track my heartbeat, which I'm sad about. I wish mine tracked my heartbeat. My husband's tracks his heartbeat. So that's okay. And at the end of the day, we track our sleep and we always check our sleep to see how we did. And you might think that you slept really good, but then you look at the sleep tracker and you're like, oh, I actually tossed and turned a whole hell of a lot. So I actually didn't sleep very good. So, what can we do to help improve the quality of our sleep? I know setting a scheduled time to go to sleep is definitely important. And for those of us who are business owners listening to this, guys, hustle culture is real. And when you're a business owner, you think you have to hustle all the time. But the reality is, the more you hustle, the less sleep you get, the less effective you're going to be at your hustle. So make sure you get some sleep. Sleep is super important. So, how can we improve the quality of our sleep?
What I do is I use the Nican sleep system, which it doesn't really matter how much I sleep. I mean, that's important. But when I do sleep, I'm getting good quality sleep. So it has magnets in it, and the magnets are helping your body to relax and keep it puts you into a deeper REM sleep quicker as well. So that when you get into that deep REM sleep, then you can really have that relaxed, good sleep. And then it doesn't really matter how long how much sleep you get. I mean, it's still important to get a good amount of sleep, but at least during that time when you are sleeping, it's helping your body to regenerate. So when you get up the next morning, it's like when I get up the next morning, even though I've only had like maybe 5 hours of sleep instead of the 8 that I wanted, I still feel energetic, and my body is not, you're not sluggish and kind of like dragging along. You get up and I'm ready to go. So it's really a nice feeling and a nice sleep system too. You sleep in a cocoon of magnets, and it feels wonderful.
That sounds really interesting. A cocoon of magnets. So is it like a magnet blanket? Or does it go underneath your mattress? Because that honestly, sleeping on magnets doesn't sound very comfortable.
It is a topper. There's a whole set. There's a topper that goes on top of your mattress under your sheet. And then there's a comforter, whether it's a light one or a heavy one, depending on what your preference is. And it has magnets in there. And we also have the pillows with the magnets in it. So when you're in that, with the topper and the cover, you're sleeping, you're like in this cocoon, which is why I said it's a cocoon covered up. And on the bottom, the top, I have the topper, I have the comforter, sorry. The topper, I'm waiting to come because they just re-engineered the technology. And so that is coming at the end of the month. So I'm excited. But just with the comforter, I'm experiencing the sleep that I told you about. So I'm excited to get the bottom so I can get even better sleep.
So I have never heard of this before. What does the magnetism do? How is it that it supports our REM sleep cycle? Because you're absolutely right. If we can have a stronger REM sleep cycle, we can have better quality sleep. And even if we only sleep for a shorter period of time, which the ideal is between 6 to 8 hours, just saying, for those of you night owls who like 3 and think you can live on it, you can't. You will give yourself a heart attack living on 3 hours. Please get more than 3 hours of sleep, at least a couple times a week. But even when you are getting that little sleep, putting yourself into a REM state is really important. So how does magnetism help with that?
It's help your body just it relaxes. So the magnets, what it does is in our body, it helps our blood flow, right? So it also, what it does is help inflammation because it increases the blood flow to the parts of our body that we need it, right? So it reduces the inflammation wherever we have that. So if you have back pain, suffer from back pains and stuff like that, sleeping on the magnets too will also help that. Because it helps that inflammation and eases that pain. And so when you relax your body and you increase your blood flow, it's all relaxed state, then you can more easily drift into that sleep, right? So and a little bit, so my husband also, when we first got it, he lost a little bit of weight with it, right? Because it helps your metabolism. It's like works your metabolism a little bit while you're sleeping as well. So it helped him to lose a little bit of weight. He's like, what did I do? I'm like, nothing, just go to sleep.
You got better sleep, honey. That's what you did. You got better sleep. And so now you were able to reduce your weight because you got better sleep. That's an awesome side effect. Very, very cool. So, Pat, these have been amazing, amazing tips. And I want to give our listening audience another chance to connect with you. So go ahead and tell them your contact information again for us.
Sure. You can go to my website at www.patmchin.com. And there you can download your 7 simple steps to get started. And you can also schedule a 30-minute consult with me, a free consult, so we can evaluate what you need in your life and then come up with a tailored plan for you. And then you can also reach out to me through email at spjcoffee@gmail.com.
Fantastic. For those of you who are listening, if this podcast is serving you today, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you know somebody who's having sleep problems or breathing problems or allergy problems, or just in general wants to reduce the access to toxins in their home because they have pets or they have children or they're expecting, please share this podcast with them because I know it will support them. It certainly has supported me in my journey, and I know it'll support them as well. So hit that subscribe, never miss another episode. Go ahead and like and share this with your friend. And hey, leave us a comment too, because we do pay attention to those. We love getting comments. We do engage with those comments when we get them. So we would love to see those comments and be able to respond back to you. Let's jump back in. I've got another question for you, Pat. If you were to give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Probably be to start this journey earlier. I started this, I really got into this about 4 years ago. And I've seen the effect that it has had in 4 years. So if I could do this all over again, I would start a lot earlier and live this life from a younger, starting a younger age.
Yes, that's amazing. And that's such a great piece of advice because we often, when we're under the age of 30, think we're invincible and we can do anything. And we see the people who are, basking in the sun, being sun goddesses and gods. And by the time they hit 50 years old, they're dealing with skin cancer. I know my father is one of them, so you see this and you just don't think about it when you're under 20 years old because you think you're going to live forever. But the reality is, we don't live forever. So if we can start our health journey sooner, we can prolong our health. We can have a better lifestyle overall, because at the end of the day, I don't want to just live to be a certain age. I want to be able to live my life and do my things and adventure and experience life and not just be sitting around waiting to die. How many of us know somebody who's sitting around waiting to die? We all know somebody that's like that. And who wants that life? I don't want that life. So getting started earlier on this journey is certainly a key to having a healthier lifestyle. Pat, do you have any more tips that you want to share with our listening audience today?
Just take care of yourself. Your health is first. And then once you have your health, it transcends to everything. Right? When you feel healthy, you feel good, you look good, you are able to do everything that you want to do and just live your life.
So true. If we ever lose our health, we have nothing left. We can't create wealth. We can't do any of the things that we want. And Gary Keller talks about our health ball in The One Thing, the book, The One Thing. It's a wonderful publication if you haven't read it. He talks about the 5 balls all of us business owners have that we have to juggle on a regular basis. And health is definitely one of those balls. And guess what, guys? It's made of glass. So if we drop that health ball, it's going to shatter and it's going to be messy. And you don't get to just super glue it back together because it's in a million tiny little pieces. So really, truly take your health seriously. Drink the water, get the sleep, clean the air, and make sure that you're paying attention to what you're cleaning your house with. Pat, this has been absolutely amazing. I so appreciate you, your knowledge. You've really provided some amazing insights today talking about reverse osmosis, alkaline water, magnetism, and all of the things that allow us to live a cleaner, greener, and healthier lifestyle. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you, Terry. It was awesome.
Sorry about that. I forgot to mute myself before you started talking.
That's fine. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely. Likewise, Pat. And for those of you who have taken the time to listen to this podcast today, we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in. And again, if you've liked this conversation, if it served you in any way, please like, subscribe, drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you so that we can engage with you. And make sure you connect with Pat. Pat, what's the best way for them to do that again?
Visit me at my website at www.patmchin.com. or contact me via email at spjcoffee@gmail.com.
I do have one more question. I have to ask you about the SPJ coffee. Are you a coffee fan? What's going on with this email address?
It's actually started out with the other business that I have. It just like started with coffee.
I gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. And for those of you who are listening, I'm going to catch you next time. And I will tell you, this is May the 21st, 2021. So next week is May the 28th, which is Memorial Day weekend. And I know a lot of you might be traveling just like I am. So we're not going to have an episode next week. And we're not going to have an episode the first week of June. I know, I'm sorry. This is going to break your heart, but what we will have is some replay episodes from last season that were our biggest hits. So we're going to make sure to share those in the next 2 weeks. And I will see you and talk to you all on the second week of June. So have a fabulous, safe, and healthy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to those of you who have served our country that give us the freedom to have these amazing conversations and be able to travel. Thank you for opening up our borders and allowing us to travel again. And to everybody's health, wealth, and success, I'm Terry Watkins, your Chief Idea Catcher at Spin Frogs. I hope you have a terrific week.